Hi guys. So I got this question in my DMs yesterday. He says, "Hi Dr. Mansi, I've watched your video on how you built a list of earnings winners. One of your criteria is range break. And he's asking me if LYV fits this criteria from a daily or weekly chart perspective, and if I would consider putting this in your list of earnings universe." So I thought I would make a quick video on this and discuss why or why not I added LYV to my list of earnings winners. And if you want to learn, you can also test your own understanding by first doing the work yourself, finding the answer, and then seeing how I interpreted it and testing your own understanding and knowledge of the concept. So I did post a Twitter poll yesterday asking if you guys added LYV to your list of earnings winners and if it met all the three criteria. And it was quite a split decision. Only 55% were yes and 45% were no. So let's see which group was right and, more importantly, why. So the first thing we're going to do is review the three criteria for what an earnings winner is. And this is a video that I made on YouTube that I'm sure you've seen. So I had three criteria, which is the stock should be breaking out of a range. It should be a new trend and not an old trend. And it should have a catalyst. So let's start by looking at the chart to see if it's breaking out of a range and if it's a new trend. So this is the chart for LYV. From a weekly perspective, we've been in a downtrend for a really long time. The stock has gone down around 50%. And from the weekly perspective, this would be the range break, because you can see this was previously a support level that has turned into a resistance level twice in the last 1 year. So technically, I would want it to take out this level, which is around $82, for it to break out from that range on the weekly chart. But on the daily chart, the stock doesn't look too bad. There is a little range here that it's broken out of. And this was a little resistance area as well, resistance and support area that it did break out of. More importantly, one of the things that I look at to see if it's breaking out of a range is if it can go above the moving averages. And in this case, it closed above the 10, 20, 50 and just a smidge below the 200-day. But the next day and today, it's holding fairly above the 200, sitting there confidently. So this does seem to break the range on the daily chart. And while it's not a clear-cut break on both the weekly and the daily time frame, since it is breaking out of this huge level on the daily time frame, I am going to consider it and not rule it out just yet. So the second criteria was, is it an old trend or a new trend? What do you guys think? So I think this is a new trend because the stock has been in a downtrend for more than a year, and it has finally broken down. It has finally broken out of this downtrend and is starting to make an uptrend. So by no means is it an old stock that's already made 3 legs higher. So this definitely qualifies as an uptrend. Now, the last criteria that we had was whether there's a catalyst on the stock. So let's go check that out. So as you know, I go on FinViz to do this. I will type in LYV. I will look at the news from 2 days ago, which is when the earnings came out. And I have a couple of articles that I can open up. Why LYV is rocking and rolling today. The revenue and earnings beat, and here's a bit of some political news about how California is trying to take down Ticketmaster's monopoly. So let's check all of these three out and see what we can learn. So why is LYV rocking and rolling today? Just reading the key points is usually enough, but you can go into more detail. Unprecedented global demand for live events fueled record results for Ticketmaster's parent company. Okay, so Ticketmaster, as most of you who watch these videos are from the US, as you know, it is the monopoly. And for any concert that we go to, from Pearl Jam to Taylor Swift, we have to buy the tickets through Ticketmaster. So I didn't know that Live Nation was actually the parent company for this, but knowing this now makes me really happy because I love monopolies. And the fact that this company is a monopoly in such a huge industry, a multi-billion dollar industry, makes me very excited about the stock. So the fact that this is a monopoly is a huge positive, and I'm just going to go on the chart and note this down here because this is definitely something that interests me even more now. So going back to the news, investors tap their feet to Live Nation's revenue beat. However, a complex company structure might strike a sour chord with potential investors. Okay. So let's take a note. Let's take a look at what the numbers actually were. There was a Zacks article that was analyzing the earnings and revenues beat. So here we are. And it says in the first quarter 23, the company reported a loss of 25 cents, but this was narrower than the estimate of 45 cents. Now, we always want to look at what the numbers were compared to what the expectations were. So while it is not positive that the company is making a loss, it's fine because investors were expecting a much bigger loss and the company actually made only half the loss that people were expecting it to make. So that is a huge beat. And in the prior year quarter, the adjusted loss was 39 cents. So it's even improved vis-a-vis the prior quarter. Now, on the revenue side, its revenue was 3.1 billion, and this beat the estimate of 2.2 billion. Now, that is a huge beat. It made almost $1 billion more than people were expecting. And year over year, it's increased 73%. All of this is incredibly positive and a very strong catalyst for the stock. So I'm just going to go ahead and note this down in the chart as well, so that whenever I look at it for the next couple of months, I can quickly reference exactly what the numbers were and how strong they were. There was another article about some kind of political upheaval in California. So let's just quickly take a look at that. So all of you who are in the US, you might remember what a fiasco Taylor Swift's tickets were. So I think what this article is just saying is that they want to end the monopoly. Okay, now this is just political rhetoric. What my takeaway from this article is that Live Nation dominates an estimated 70% of the ticketing market and over 80% of the share for major concert ticket sales in the US. Now that is huge, and that actually makes me more excited about this company than any kind of political blowback that senators might be threatening, because that's just their job, but nothing actually gets done. So I'm just going to add this to the chart as well. And so what do you think in the end? Does Live Nation meet all three criteria of an earnings winner or no? Clearly, it's in a new uptrend. It's not an old trend. It has broken out of this recent range on the daily chart. And it will be even more positive when it breaks out of this weekly range. And the news on this is just spectacular. The numbers are great, and the fact that it's a monopoly is just the icing on the cake. So 100%, this is added to my earnings winners list. And if you are someone who likes to trade these stocks as well, then you should be adding it. For all of you, the half of you who said it didn't meet the criteria, you can check why you felt that way compared with the reasons I just laid out. And if there's something that I'm missing that you did pick up on, which is why you didn't add it to your list of earnings winners, please let me know. But I hope this has been helpful, and these quick quizzes help to accelerate the learning. If you guys find these videos useful, I'll make more of these. So do let me know if they're helpful. Thank you.